Hello, this tutorial is about using NITRO workflows when an item is created in a list. These workflows that take place when an item is created in a list greatly help with automation and streamlining of business processes. Whatever type of request it is, any time a workflow can run when the item is created, it produces a lot of value. So there's several ways an item can be created in a SharePoint list. One is go directly to SharePoint and create a new item there. You can send an email. You could use a web form that sends an email. You could use a Power Portal. The Power Portal is part of NITRO Studio. It's an application interface that allows a friendly way to create for users to create and submit and view their tickets, or from a workflow can go ahead and create an item in a list also. So when an item is created, whatever way it is, it doesn't matter. It can kick off the item creation workflow here. Now, what that item creation workflow does is up to you and the needs of the application. So some of the common ones would be auto reply to user, notify staff that a request has come in, auto assign to the staff or team, maybe based on certain conditions, such as some value in the incoming request. You can auto assign it to different people based on those values. You might want to set due date, priority, or other fields. That can be used to set service level agreements, SLA, so a ticket of a certain type, a certain category would get a certain due date and priority, and other ones would get a different due date and priority, depending on the criticality and severity and status of that incoming request. You also can create subtasks, so a request might require several subtasks associated with it to be done in order to complete it. You can set permissions on the incoming item, and you can start an approval process. Those are just some of the actions that can take place. So we'll demonstrate some of these in the Workflow Manager from NITRO Studio. So in the NITRO Studio, we have a NITRO Workflows. We're in the site here that we're talking about. The list is IT Premium in this case. So let's go to NITRO Workflows. The workflow tool loads, and we see the list of configured workflows already. So let's create a new one. And this workflow, we'll just give it a simple name of item creation workflow here. So we go item creation workflow, and this will take place on the tickets list here, the tickets list right here, and will be when the item is created. The first thing we were talked about is an auto reply to user. So let's set up that action. That's a send mail action. So the workflow has a trigger of when the item is created. We could add conditions to it, but we're not right here. This will run on every item that's created. And then what actions are going to take place. This could be more than one. It can have a whole series of actions taking place here. So the first one we're going to create is an auto reply to user using the send mail action. So we're going to call it auto reply to requester. Now, it really doesn't matter what the name is here. This is just so you know when you look at it, when you look at the actions, to have some idea what it's all about. So we're going to send an email, template. We already have a template created here called auto reply to requester. Now, this was created by going to the plus earlier. Before this demo, I created this auto reply to request template. It was created using the plus sign, and we can edit it with this, or we could delete it. So let's take a look at it, what it looks like. The template has a name. Its priority is normal. The subject is we received your request. Now we can go in here and change this to whatever we want, adding different information and text and context here. So here we have a body that says, hi, received your request. This could be whatever you like, but notice here that there's these placeholders. This is taken from over here. All the fields that are available can be added to the subject or the body, as well as various links and titles and things like that can be added in. So in this case, we did not add a link back to the ticket for the requester, but we could do that when we notify staff or auto assign the staff. But in this case, we're sending back a simple message. It can be whatever you want, and formatted using rich text, formatted the way you want. So we're going to use that template, and we're going to send it to the person in the field of requester. So the requester is right here. From the ticket, from the incoming item that was sent in, we know the requester. It's going to be from a particular email address here. We could just call it system account for now. And that's going to be, oops, come back here. Oh, I got to check that. Sorry. There we go. And we have now from the system account, we're going to be sending to the requester, and we're going to save this. And now we have now added an action to the item creation workflow. When item's created, it's going to run this action called auto reply to user. Now let's add another action. This time we're going to notify staff. So notify staff, and we're going to use the template of that's already created called notify staff. We can take a look at it if we want. It has just some information in here that is important for the staff to know when the item's created. It also has a link to the request right here. So we'll have that on there. And it's going to go, who is it going to go to? Well, it's going to go to whoever we think we need to be notified. Maybe anybody in this list. It could be one particular person, a group. In this case, let's go with service request members. And that's who we're going to send it to. And also, by the way, you can have multiple people it goes to here, as well as CC and BCC. And we're going to send it from, again, that system account, so that it will be from that account and go to this. And that's only going to send it to this one group. We could add more in there if we wanted. So now we have a second action on here. The second action is notify the staff. Now maybe we want to add another action of automatically assigning it. So this is an update action. Let's go here to update, and we're going to say assign ticket for hardware request, we'll call it. And we're going to assign the current item, and we're going to map the assigned staff field here of the incoming request to a particular group or person. Let's go service, use that same one, service request members, that group if we want. So we're going to update, and now it's going to assign this to the service request members group or team. It could be to an individual, doesn't really matter. And but let's put a condition on it, and this condition is going to be, we're going to only assign it to those people when the category is hardware request. Hardware request. So there we go. So that's going to be the condition. So what we've done here now is we've created 3 actions. This is going to, the auto reply is going to run on every time, every incoming item. The notify staff is going to run on every incoming item, but the assign ticket to the service request members is only going to run when the category is hardware request. And we could do the same thing, add another action with another condition and say, well, I don't know, whatever, when the category is network, we're going to assign it to a different, maybe to a particular person. Assign ticket for network, and we can assign that to a particular person here. On the current item, we can assign it to a particular, the assigned staff to a particular person. Let's say Pavan Kumar, for instance, one of the people here. So we say this one is going to be here. It's going to be assigned when it's category of network. It's going to be assigned to Pavan Kumar. Now we could also say when it's not equal to network, assign it or whatever. So other ways you can do this, kind of interesting. So now we have these 4 actions taking place. The first 2 run on every incoming ticket. The second 2 would run when the meets that certain category. Now let's do something else here. Is that when we want to set due date and priority, we can come here again. That's another kind of update action. And so we're going to do this. We're going to say set priority to high on the current item. But when do we want to do that? Not every item coming in. So let's do it when the requester, let's say it's the CEO. Requester equals CEO, in this case Scott or Stevo. And so that's the condition. When the requester, not the request status, when the requester is equal to Scott or Stevo, we're going to set the priority to high and due date to today. Again, I'm typing this in just for so we can know what the action is by looking at it, but really you could call it anything here. You could call it gold SLA if you wanted, or something like that. Platinum SLA, service level agreement, whatever you want to call it here. So what are we going to do to make that happen? We're going to go to the column mappings again. We're going to find priority, and we're going to set it to the value of high. In addition to this, we're going to do another mapping of due date, and we're going to set the due date till today. See, there's a list of functions here, and some of them get quite complicated, but it gives you many ways to map columns. And this is a more advanced level, but at least the simple one, today or now, makes sense to put it right there. So now what we're saying is when the requester is equal to Scott Restivo, we're going to, on the current item, we're going to set the priority to high and the due date till today. Now you could do service level agreements like this, or prior, column mappings like this, based on any kind of field that's in this drop down list here. It could be when the if it's just a purchase request, when it's a certain cost. It could be when it's from a certain location. It could be when it's from a particular category. Any ways you want, severity level. These kind of things can set up these column mappings, and you can have multiple of ones of those on there. It could be gold SLA, silver SLA. It could be just when severity is high. It could be when location is some location that is a different kind of due date or a different kind of priority. And you can do that with also the assignment and the assignment, as well as setting the different fields on here. So that's quite powerful, and we've covered a number of these actions here. Auto reply to user, notify staff, auto assign, set due date. We can also create subtasks. Creating subtask is a create item action. Set permissions would be to manage permissions, and the approval is we'll go into in another tutorial, but just quickly, here's create item action. In the create item, you'd be creating an item, the subtasks in a target side, a target list, and you can map the columns from the incoming item to those new tasks. Create as many subtasks as you want. And the manage permission one is right here, and you can come in and say what permissions you want to set on this current item. Different kinds of permissions that you can do here. So I just wanted to give you a brief overview of the power and capabilities of the workflow manager when you're creating when a new item is created in a list, how many different things you could do, and you can really adjust this to be specific to your particular needs of the particular application. And this is just a brief overview of this. I hope it helps. Thank you very much.